Good morning. What's happening out there, good people? It's your man Cam, just jumping back on this thing. Want to talk. Just as of yesterday, the Ontario's premier, I should say, made a statement. And I believe that was yesterday, but it was at some point in the recent past few days that he made this statement that that Ontario is basically going to go eye for an eye when it comes down to these tariffs. But as well, Ontario has pulled all of American produced alcohol off of its shelves, and he's convincing the other territories, or whatever they call them in Canada, to do the same. But then he went on to say how Ontario and Canada provides electricity to certain states in this country. And if I heard him correctly, I know for a fact he said that Minnesota is one of those states. And I believe that they said that New York is another one. And there's a couple of others that get their electricity from Canada and from Ontario. And so he stated that if this president continues on the tariff warpath that he's on right now, that they're going to cut the electricity to these states, and that these states will literally be left in the dark. And this is just not some type of, fake information. This is the real deal. And he also stated how, and which I mentioned as well, how this president is destroying relationships between countries that the United States has had, and they're good relationships, and they've had these relationships for years. And he's destroying all of these relationships in a matter of weeks, in a matter of a month or two, just because he's wanting to be a dictator. He's wanting to be a king. And so he's taking his ideas and going to Russia with this information and partnering with Russia. And so he stated how the United States and Canada have stood side by side through thick and thin. And now this president wants to give praise to Putin, in which we all know that Putin is a terrible person because of the acts that he has done. This is not allegedly or anything of that nature. These things that they say about him are true. We've seen where American citizens, for example, the basketball player, have been arrested and have been held for months and years at a time for simple acts or small crimes that literally they should have been let and set free that same day or that same night. And they sat over there for years. And once again, this president knows these things, and he still is deciding to be buddy-buddy with this guy, even after seeing the way that he's treated our own citizens in that country. Like, this dude and the people around him are finally starting to wake up and see that he's no good for this country. But like I said, it's a little bit too late to be trying to go and change your mind now, because he's now the president of this country. But the premier of Ontario also went on to say how he doesn't want to partner with any other country, for example, China. But if this president continues down the path that he's going, they're not going to have any other option but to come up with trade agreements with China. In which we know that when it comes down to the power balances and things like that, that China and the United States are back and forth as far as 1 and 2. And he outrightly said that he will partner with China if this president continues down the path that he's going. And then he also went on to speak on how the United States gets a lot of its minerals from Ontario. That Ontario is a mineral-rich country. Its soil has a lot of minerals that we don't have here, or we don't have large amounts of here, so we have to get those minerals from Ontario. In which, when he mentioned that, I started to think. And I want y'all to think along with me. Ukraine. This president mentioned several times about the rich soil, and they got another name for it, but the rich soil that Ukraine has, and with these minerals that the United States was trying to take advantage of in Ukraine, that the United States would be able to take those minerals and build better AI and better technology and things, he went on to say. And so follow me. So if you look at the big picture, because anybody in their right mind knows that when he started to come up with these tariffs against these different countries, most importantly Canada, in which, if you didn't know, Canada is the United States' largest trading partner. This country does more importing and exporting with Canada than with any other country in the entire world. But yet, this president wants to go and destroy that relationship that these two countries have built with one another. Why would someone do something like that? He intentionally is trying and is being successful at destroying that relationship. It wasn't something that he wasn't aware of. He knows what he's doing. And I said that he's intentionally doing that for whatever reason, other that I don't know the full reason. But I do know that one reason is because he thought in his mind that he was going to be able to make an agreement between the United States, Russia, and Ukraine, so that the United States would be able to take advantage of the Ukrainian mineral-rich soil, so that we could, so that this country, I should say, could continue on with building better technology and things like that, because that same soil that we would have gotten from Ukraine is the same soil and majority of the same minerals that we get from Ontario. And so you mess up, like I say, a relationship with Canada, in which, in his mind, the only things that are important to these guys, because think about it, you got the Tesla guy, basically his right-hand man, who's big into technology. Okay? Both of them are head over heels about money, money, money. And so if you cut certain trade or ties with Canada, that may possibly save this country money, because you're not having to pay for their imports to come into this country, or their exports, I should say, from that country to come into this country. Then as well, he mentions how this country, he's going to drill, baby, drill, or something he said, just because this country is rich in oil that we're not taking advantage of. So there goes your power, your electricity, or what have you. We can create our own power if we have that much oil to where we don't have to depend on other countries for those types of materials. So he's literally trying to cut all ties with Canada, which is stupid because that's our closest ally. So if something happens, now we don't have Canada on our side to help fight along with us, which is stupidity, in our biggest trade partner. But you see the picture that I'm painting? Because the minerals in the electricity and power are the two most important things to this president and to his cabinet. The other stuff they could care less about. That's why he went back to the table with Mexico, because he realizes that this country does not have enough farmland and resources of that nature, and to where we don't have it, where our weather in this country is going to be sunny and warm all year long in order to produce enough crops to feed the entire country. And so he went back to the table with Mexico because somebody got in his ear and told him, hey man, what you doing ain't gonna work. You get what I'm saying? And so he wants to continue as best as possible to the relationship with Mexico so that we can continue to receive the fruits and vegetables that this country needs in order to maintain. But he doesn't see any reason to continue trading back and forth with Canada. That's why he's doing what he's doing. But he's hurting in the long run a lot of American farmers that he claims that he was helping, that he's going to help. Because like I said, they're taking the American alcohol off of the shelves, in which Canada is the largest trading partner with the United States when it comes down to alcohol as well. They're the largest importer or exporter of alcohol, period. And a lot of that alcohol comes from the United States. So now you're going to have those states that rely heavily on the production of alcohol suffer more than what they already are suffering at this point in time, because you have an ignorant leader in the White House. But like I say, back to the Ukraine situation, that's why he was trying to come up with the agreement, y'all, because Ukraine has the exact same mineral-rich soil, for the most part, that Ontario has. The zinc, the copper, the manganese, and these other valuable minerals are in each one of those countries' soil. In which, like I say, for the longest, we have been getting those minerals from Ontario. But because we have such a stupid president, and his minions are just as ignorant, for example, the vice president, they get the leader of Ukraine on national television, and they spoke to this guy as if he was a 12-year-old child, and that he had gotten in trouble in school, and just literally embarrassed this man in front of millions of people, belittled this guy, and you expect for this guy to have another sit down with you in order to talk about another agreement? The only way that he will ever sit down with this president and his stupid minions again is if Europe and the European leaders are there as well. They're all going to have to sit down together. There will be no way that the Ukrainian president will ever have a one-on-one meeting with this president again after the show that this guy put on once again in front of millions of people. And so, like I said, now you mess up with Canada, you mess up with Ukraine, and so all of this technology and AI nonsense that he was just banking on for this country to be catapulted to the top of the technology realm has now all came crashing down in his egg on his face because of his arrogance. Because he does not know how to talk to people, because he's always been in a position of so-called power, and now he's just a power hungry and like I said, don't know how to talk to people. And he messed it up between both of those countries. So don't be surprised out there when the AI and all this other stuff starts to come to a standstill on top of everything else that we're going to have to go through because of the, once again, ignorance of this cabinet. I mean, y'all, this guy made promises coming into this term, how he was just going to make the economy better and all this other nonsense, and he's done the total opposite. Literally, I have not ever seen, since I've been keeping up with the stock market is literally crashing before our eyes. And the stock market, forever and a day, has been like that measuring tool on how the economy of this country is going, or what direction the economy in this country is going. And so when you have the stock market crashing, that means that millions of people are taking their money out of these stocks, and they're putting their money elsewhere because they do not feel safe with the direction that the economy is going. You understand? Stocks, for example, you got Chevron, you got Kroger, you got Walmart, Target. These types of companies have stocks. And so people invest into these different companies. And when these companies do good, these companies pay out dividends, which is money that you get from the company most of them every 4 months, or every 3 months, or the stock price of that company rises. So you may have bought the company at $10 and the company may go up to $30 and you've made $20. But it's doing the opposite. Everything is literally falling off of the charts with this president. And once again, his people do not know how to take responsibility for anything that he does or anything that they do. And they want to blame it, on Biden. Biden has been out of the office now for 3 months. How you going to blame somebody that's no longer even in office? And it's not like he just got out of office yesterday. This guy has been out of office for almost 3 months, and y'all are still pointing the finger at him? And as a people that sees this and hears this, We aren't competent enough to realize that these guys are just full of it and they don't know where else to turn. And so they blame the person or the group of people that were there previously. I mean, what sense does that make? The stock markets didn't do any of this when Biden was in office. When Biden was in office, the markets were actually stable and a lot of stocks were going up. A lot of stocks went up a lot with Biden being in office. For example, NVIDIA, which is a chip, an AI chip company, went to the moon with this guy being in office. I only say that even this Tesla, because they have stock. Tesla stock rose, and it rose mighty with Biden in office. But now you got the owner of Tesla, and you got this crazy leader in office, and his stock is actually doing the opposite now, because people are coming to their senses. People are realizing that these guys mean this country no good. But yet he boasted and bragged on just how great of a businessman he is and how he was just going to turn this economy around. Yeah, you turned it around, all right. You turned the economy from doing pretty good to doing terrible. Yeah, you had those Fed rates and all that kind of stuff, but they were the federal rates, its interest rates were starting to be cut again with Biden in office. They were going back down. But now they can't do anything with it because we don't know what this economy is about to do. From the sights of it, it looks like it's about to implode. And everybody's going to be out here struggling. And we're going to look like a third world country with a couple of billionaires running everything and caring less about what we have to struggle through. Because it's all about painting an image of how he just made everything better. But in reality, he's doing the complete opposite. Man, y'all, this is just such a terrible time. And as a man, I don't like pointing the finger, but come on, Republican Party. Come on, man. Y'all's arrogance, along with this leader's arrogance, have literally flushed the toilet on this country. And y'all have the nerve, and some of you still have the nerve to want to believe in what this guy is doing and also speak badly about the Democratic Party. But under the Democratic Party, even past Republican parties, this country has not ever been in this situation that we're in right now. And I don't know what y'all saw in this guy to make y'all think that he was going to be a good leader. The first time he was in office, it was just a stroke of luck that the economy happened to be doing better. But you have to understand, he inherited from Obama an economy that was doing just fine. So he may have added on to it slightly, but he did not fix the economy. The economy was already okay when he came into office the first time. Then he comes in a second time with the economy being okay and things starting to turn around for the better, and he turns around and makes things worse. He told y'all that he was out for revenge. And he's literally taking revenge out on everybody. Not just the ones that don't believe in him, but the ones that did believe in him. We are all suffering under this guy. And then he takes this billionaire, richest guy in the world, and literally makes him his partner, which we've not ever seen anything like this before in the White House. And this guy has literally bought this country. just because he had so much money. And because this president knew that if he put this guy next to him, with this country being so caught up on riches and fame, that he would win even more votes in order to be able to become president. So he brings this guy in. And this guy literally funded this president's whole presidency. And I told you before, this Tesla guy could care less about the so-called minorities in this country. He could care less about the brown and black people of the world, let alone in this country. He's got deep down inside, in his heart, a hatred towards the brown and black people. There's a reason why him and his family left Africa to begin with. Because like I say, the whites in many parts of Africa are considered the minority, and they're treated like the blacks are treated here in the United States. And so he has that hatred built up for the black and brown community. And now he has the opportunity to be able to release that anger out on all of the people in this country that has nothing to do with his upbringing. We had nothing to do with what you went through over in Africa. But yet, you want to bring that built up anger and take it out on us. And I said it before too about this president. He has been a businessman for years and years. He's got his hotels and golf courses and stuff in many countries. Not a whole lot, but a handful of countries. But he tried to put them in all countries. China. He probably even tried to do it in Canada. But because they refused to let him do so, he built up an aggression towards them, a hatred towards them. And so now that he's in a position that he's in, he's using that position to take his revenge out on those countries. But in the long run, you're destroying the people that put you into that position, and also the people that you're supposed to be helping are being destroyed. China didn't want his hotel over there, y'all. And I don't have any paperwork saying that, but believe me when I say it. China didn't want his golf courses over there, y'all. That's why he don't like China. Canada didn't want his hotels up there. Canada didn't want his golf courses over there. That's why he don't like Canada, y'all. Mexico too. But like I say, he's having to mend the wound or tend to the wounds between Mexico and the United States, because it's already enough that he gonna put us in a bind, but he don't want us to also starve to death, because once people get hungry, they coming looking for that bread. And a lot of people know where that bread's at. That bread's in Washington, D.C. So he's trying to fix that issue. But hey, y'all, I appreciate the people that are starting to watch my little show, my little channel. And y'all are watching it, man, but y'all like my videos. Even subscribe to my channel, man, so this can get out to everybody. And who knows, man, I could be the next YouTube, whatever, however. But hey, man, y'all take it easy out there. It's your man Cam, and I love y'all.